that is a clear, concrete example where it happened. The very thing you're saying doesn't happen
No, I didn't.
happened.
I didn't say it does not happen. I said I have
You
never had the experience with somebody telling me that or experiencing it myself. It can happen. Now, here's the thing. This would probably shock your mind. I don't think that policing is without fault. I know that there's people who are on the police department that are racist. I've never experienced it. I know there's people who are insensitive to race. I know that there's people who are dirtbags. I work with some of them that were dirtbags and they got fired, and nobody hates them more than other police officers. So I'm not here telling you that there's no such thing as racism. I'm just saying it's so infrequent that I have never experienced it. But you have your experiences. He was reprimanded by another white officer and his behavior changed. So what that tells
I didn't
me,
say his behavior changed. I did not say his behavior
well,
changed.
if his behavior didn't change, then he shouldn't be a police officer anymore, correct?
He might not be. I
No,
was
no.
only there for a
Well,
year.
we need to find out because if somehow he was, see, here's the thing that I think is pertinent to digest as well, is a person can have an opinion about the way you treat another person and project that it's race related, and when it's not. He said that he felt his previous behaviors were wrong in the way he treated the young people, correct? When Ronnie Coleman showed up to the meeting. So that means that he acknowledged he was wrong. The other officer called him out when he saw it happen. That means that if his behavior continues that way, he should not be a police officer anymore.
I
And
agree with you. I
and if this, and what I'm saying is that you're showing me and you explain to me a check and balance that happened in real time, meaning that
correct.
unchecked behavior is not something that's prevalent. If most officers do not partake in racial biases towards people, it makes officers sick to their stomach and they hate it with a passion. So therefore, when you see an officer see another officer do something incorrect to people in the community, they will get on there fast. And it
But you're
happens. And what I'm telling you is that you can say that there's things that occur. I agree with you. But that you just showed me an example of how most officers are unaccepting to stuff like that. Racial bias in policing is unacceptable to most officers.
okay. I want to be very, very clear about this point. After I presented you a concrete example, you softened your position, which is
I
fine.
didn't soften my position. I never had
But
a
then
position that
you
somehow you were
literally
wrong.
said, okay, fine. We
Okay.
can go back and watch the replay. But my follow-up question to this is, I am one person with my own subjective experience. You asked me to give you a concrete example. I gave you one. You have your own subjective experience where you're saying I was a police officer for this amount of time. I never saw it. And then you're making a very bold claim saying, I think most officers are disgusted by this and most officers are good officers. At like what would someone have to present to you to say, wow, racial bias in policing is actually a bigger issue than I previously thought? Because
Well,
there is
because
data to that end.
I'm not saying that racial bias is not in policing. We've
No,
already
no, no. I
established that.
said a major
No,
problem
no.
in
When you
policing.
say major, to me, that means that a person that have served in the police department, you've done a few ride-alongs. I've done thousands because I was a cop in the car. I dealt with people on a daily basis. I'm talking about hundreds of arrests, thousands of traffic stops, and you name it. I've had so much experience, and I know a lot of officers. And I'm telling you that with my experience personally, plus officers that I've talked to, it does not appear that racial bias is prevalent. You, as a clinician, just gave an example, and the example you chose was that you encountered a rookie officer who doesn't have a lot of experience getting chastised by another officer who were both white because he was inappropriate in the way he treated young black men or young black kids on a
Kids,
call.
kids.
So I'm telling you my experience, and even in your experience, it validates what I'm saying. It's so not prevalent that you can't even witness it happen without somebody checking them over it. And
That's
therefore,
not what I said. You asked me for one example. I gave you an example.
but the example you gave me, what to me, I'm assuming that you would give me a pretty prominent, egregious example. But even an example that you gave me, you're alluding to the fact that he was chastised by another senior officer who was white, not a
He
black
was
man.
called out for sure. He was called out by a white man.
And that's why I'm saying most cops are not in the business of being racist. And when we see our officers doing things they shouldn't do, majority of the cops will call people out on this. It's not acceptable in policing for you to be racist towards people. It's not acceptable. Now, there are people that do it, but that's not acceptable. It's not like your chief is going to watch you do something racist and go, yeah, that's totally fine. No, the community is not accepting it. Other black officers won't accept it, and good white officers will not accept it in policing. So it's rare.
But here's my statement. It's according to data, according to research, it's not rare. I can
No,
give you my
research that I just explained to you from Fryer, from Harvard, a Harvard professor who did
I
a
will
research
post.
document and posted that his findings, and they didn't even want him to present his findings, and they hated him over it. That his findings were that there is no biases when you look
Okay,
at the
I'm
numbers
gonna
against blacks in policing.